So today I wanted to talk about bow releases and why it's so important to pick out the right one for your skills and needs. As I mentioned earlier in my earlier videos about bow hunting, archery in general, I am what you call a noob, a beginner. I really don't know much about it. I'm trying to learn as I go and just really grow into the sport and bring you videos to show my struggles, adversities, and what I'm learning and what's been working best for me. Perhaps maybe it'll work for you guys, I'm not sure. But the release is something, I've actually learned the past 2-3 months how important these are to get tighter groupings. So in my hand, I have 3 types of releases that I've purchased with my own money and tinkered with and just experimented and tried to get the best groups out of. I have the wrist release right here. I have a new thumb release right here. And I got a brand new hinge release right here. Talking about release is very important in my opinion because that's what releases the arrow to the target. And if you have a mechanism or a release or whatever you want to call it, that's going to give you the most comfortable trigger settings, the most comfortable feel, whatever the case may be, your target or your groupings is going to be much tighter. And in the long run, if you keep practicing, you'll definitely have a more ethical kill if you're able to shoot an animal with a bow. So without further ado, let's go to the 3 types of releases I have in hand. Let's talk about them and I'll let you guys know which one I prefer the best right now. The first release that I want to talk about is the very first release I ever purchased when I first purchased my bow. This is called the Axcel True Ball Beast number 2, I believe it is. This is a very easy release to use, and basically what it does is it ties around your wrist with a leather strap here. Other straps come with Velcro. Other companies make a BOA where you can click it with a turn, tighten the tension. But this is a general, just looks like a regular belt buckle. And basically what you do is you get this right here, this part, and you hinge it to your loop, your D loop, and you draw your arrow, your bow back. And then when you're ready to release, you just pull it and it releases it just like a trigger on a firearm. Very simple to use, and this was recommended by the pro shop, and that's why I got it. It's pretty pricey. I believe it's a little bit over $100. It's a lot of adjustability. You can adjust the size, you can adjust the angle. I believe you can adjust the tension, but I didn't mess with any of those, to be honest with you. I just kept it at factory settings, and I've learned to shoot with this for the past 2 months. And it's been a really, really cool release. There's a lot of positives, especially if you're a beginner, to have a wrist release. The first one that I can think of on the top of my head is stability, meaning that it stays on your wrist. So you're never looking for your release, because a release can be like a set of keys and you just lose it, right? You just put them anywhere and you just kind of forget about it, you're absent-minded. But with a wrist release, it is on your wrist constantly if you keep it there, and it's ready to go. So when you're bow hunting or you're just shooting a target, pull back your compound bow and it's ready to shoot. I mean, it's very convenient. So let me show you guys through demonstration by shooting 3 arrows with this release and showing the groups that I've been getting. Okay, I got my Mathews V3 27, 3 arrows right here. Have my wrist release on my wrist right now. What I got, a target about 30 yards. Let me just verify that. Yeah, about 30.4 yards, pretty much 30 yards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot 3 arrows using this release right here, showing you exactly how it works, just to let you know what I'm thinking while I'm shooting, and just check out the grouping to see how I do. Right off the bat, I love how it just sticks to your wrist. You know where it's at, you never lose it. And I love it how you're using your wrist and your arm to give you that tension, to pull back the arrow just like so. Yeah, it feels really good because I'm used to, this is my first release I ever used, and it's helping me really pull back on the string and give me that good form and keeping that bubble level right in the middle. Oh yeah, that feels really good. I am torquing it more though, however, just because I guess the way it's made and how it's pulling back and I'm using my arm, I get this pulling more of a string and there's more of an angle per se. I hope that makes sense. Not bad shot, a little bit right to the low. Let's shoot another one. Once again, as a beginner, I feel like this is going to be your best release. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of you guys used a different release when you first started shooting. But I think this is as easy as it gets when it comes to releases. Let's make a good shot on the target there. Just love how it just, you're able to pull that string back. Just keep your eyes on the target. Okay, that went a little bit right too. I mean, then again, it's just probably me and my skill level, but yeah, I just love how easy it is to release that string. It makes pulling that bow back so easy using your whole arm muscle. Yeah, that went a little bit low. Yeah, as I stated earlier, guys, you guys may be different, but when I use this release, my groupings are not as tight as, say, the thumb release or the hinge release. But then again, it's probably because I need more practice, and it's probably my form, honestly. But I mean, this is a great release. I cut my teeth learning to shoot this bow with this release, and it's something I do highly recommend. All right, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that grouping. I would say about 2 3/4 or 3 inches of grouping right there. I mean, not too bad for the release. It is shooting low because honestly, I was shooting the wrong pin. That's just, once again, my newbiness. But grouping is what you really need to pay attention, and the groupings are not too bad from 30 yards. 30 yards is being an average, I would say, in my opinion, for bow kills, especially if you're hog hunting or maybe even deer hunting from a tree stand. 20 to 30 yards, but I mean, this is very acceptable. This is a dead animal in my opinion. The second hinge I want to talk about today is the new Ultraview Hinge release. It's been sold out, and I finally got it in about 3 weeks ago after placing my pre-order. And honestly, I'm going to be frank with you guys, this is how new I am to bow hunting and releases in general. I thought when I saw this on the website and the YouTube videos, this was a thumb release. Honest to God, that was the biggest mistake of my life. Not carefully researching, not reading the description box, and just all the jargon they were using with bow hunting and releases and hinging and all that stuff, I knew nothing about. So I purchased this thinking it was a thumb release. It didn't come with this peg, so this was like 10 bucks extra. The cost of this is like $220. If you want it, this is an aluminum version and they make a brass version. This right here is a medium size, which fits my hand pretty good. I'm a medium to large glove size, so I'm pretty average, but they do make a larger size for larger hands. Once again, this is an aluminum one. I love the coloring. It's great. The peg, the blue peg, you can get different colors with these pegs. But back to the way it works, just the way the name applies, it's a hinge. And believe me guys, I had to learn that through my experience when I first opened it and I was trying to shoot it and it wouldn't release with my thumb. So basically, real quick, this is how it works so I can teach you guys so you guys don't make the same mistake I did. So basically what you do is you're going to put it on your D loop, you're going to draw your bow back just like so. And then in order to release your arrow, you need to hinge your release just like that. Hinge your wrist rather, and it's going to release that release right here and it'll fire. So that's what I had to learn because honestly, I thought this was a defect because it would not fire. I was like, what the hell is going on? Once again, guys, go ahead and flame me. I'm a newbie, learning as I grow and just doing the research. So learn from my mistakes. But anyhow, I was going to return it, to be honest with you, but I found out to be actually pretty good. And it's actually helped me shoot tighter groups compared to my wrists, to my surprise. Because honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is not a beginner release. I mean, I guess you can use it as a beginner like I did, but I mean, this is a very difficult release to use. It teaches you form, it teaches you to hinge your wrist, pull back on the string itself, and that's what people try to teach you, archers or professional archers, bow hunters, whatever the case may be, to give you those tighter groups. I've grown to like it over the past couple of weeks, and I actually, when I first ordered it, I ordered it stock with no click, because basically you can get it with a click and no click, meaning that you'll hear a slight faint click telling you that it's about to release. But I love the click, and I've got the 16 size model right here. Hopefully you guys can see that, just like so. I changed it out, meaning that it's going to give me less of a, I guess, pull or hinge. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comments. But basically, this is going to make it release a little bit earlier than, say, what's available from the factory. So it's going to give it a, I guess the best way to describe it is if you have a trigger on a firearm, you lighten the pound, pullback from like 5 to 2. So basically, this is like a 2-pound. Talking about firearms, so I can help you guys relate and understand. And like I stated earlier, guys, I don't recommend this as a beginner release because it's very tricky. It's very complicated. You have to learn how to shoot it. Otherwise, you'll have a lot of misfires and potentially hurting people because you're not keeping the correct, I guess, hinge while you're drawing back. I mean, there's a lot of variables, and it's really hard to hunt with, in my opinion, based on my level. When I pull back, you gotta make sure it's hinged down, otherwise it'll release just like that and the arrow will fly while you're trying to acquire a target. So let's go ahead and make sure. See, I get really nervous. Okay, it's down like so. Oh yeah, that felt really good. Hopefully you guys heard the click. Okay, here goes the second arrow. I gotta make sure that my wrist is aiming down. And that's why you use your thumb right here as a peg. You push it down. Okay, there's a click. Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good. Just like I said, it's, in my opinion, it's not for a beginner, but it really helps you shoot tighter groups because you're using your arm when you're pulling back and hinging your wrist to release the arrow. There's a click right there. Yeah, my groupings are much better than the wrist. All right, here we go, man. Look at these groupings right here, or look at this grouping right here. That is a nice grouping. I would say about 2 inches, maybe an inch and 3/4, not too bad from 30 yards. As I stated earlier, the Ultraview Hinge is a better release for me. It gives me tighter groups, but once again, it is not for a beginner and it takes a lot of practice to use it. And to this day, even though I've been using it for at least 3 weeks, I will not take it out hunting because I just don't have confidence, and I have anxiety that I will release an arrow too soon because I'm not hinging it correctly when I'm pulling back. But right there, look at the groupings, not too bad. This is the last release that I have that I currently own. This is made by Carter. It's called the Target 3 Plus, meaning 3, meaning it's 3 finger. And this right here, guys, is a proper thumb release. After doing a lot of research, after purchasing the Ultraview Hinge and making that mistake, I finally went back to the internet and did more research. You know, basically you got to do your research if you're new to the sport. You got to learn and grow and make mistakes on the way. I mean, that's what I did, but everything turned out pretty good. But this has been one of my favorite releases so far. I've had this for about 3 weeks also, and this is rightfully so a thumb release, meaning that you put this on your D loop, you pull your bow back, make sure you keep your thumb off the trigger here because it's easily accessible and it easily disengages. You pull your arrow back and you're using your thumb to release the arrow. So let me shoot 3 arrows and show you the groupings with this mechanism right here. And I can tell you what, guys, this is my favorite so far. Here's my thumb release by Carter's, which is a great company. They make a bunch of other thumb releases. They're, you know, honestly, they're pretty much all the same. A little bit difference in the way you hold it, but most of them are 3 finger. You can get up to 4 finger. I mean, they got so many different models, but I like this model right here. I've really grown into liking it. And honestly, here's a little story. I ordered the 2 simple, but they sent me the Target 3 Plus, and I was kind of upset because I wanted the 2 simple. However, I started shooting this and I really liked it. I never returned it. And this is about 3 weeks now and I've really grown into this. But anyways, I'm talking too much. Let's go ahead and shoot some arrows. So I want to show you guys how you lock this into the D loop. So this is locked right here and you release it. What you do is you put it into the D loop right there. Then you push this button right here to lock it in just like that. And you're good to go. You gotta make sure you keep your thumb off the release. All right, here we go. That feels good. I just love how it's very steady, very stable in my fingers, in my hand when I pull the bow back. And it gives me, just like the hinge, how I'm able to really pull back on the string. Oh yeah, that feels really good. Really good. I love that. And once again, guys, you can adjust the travel, you can adjust the tension. All right, here we go. Second arrow. 30 yards, so we can put it right in the bullseye. It just really gives me a good balance, makes my bubbler stay right in the middle. Yeah, that's a good shot right there. That's a kill. Oh, I really love that, man. It feels so good in my hands. One more shot. Last arrow down 30 yards. Let's see if we can get it right in the middle. A better grouping than we did with the Ultraview. All right, let's go check it out. The best groupings, as I thought was going to happen, came with the thumb release from Carter's. Look at that grouping right there. I would say that's like maybe 1.25 inches groupings, maybe close to 1.5 inches. Right between, I don't know, but this is a dead animal for sure. Right in the target where I was aiming. This has been such a pleasure to shoot with. 3 releases that I've been tinkering and experiencing with the past 3 months has been shooting and growing as a bow hunter and archer, learning a lot about the sport. And as you can tell, my favorite release as of today is the thumb release by Carter. I love this. So I was going to go bow hunting. I need to be accurate. I would definitely take the thumb release. And if I didn't have the thumb release, my second choice would be the wrist release, just because it's easy to use and I know I won't lose it. And it's just like pulling a trigger on a firearm with that trigger release, just like that. I mean, it's so simple to use. The hinge, once again, it's not a beginner release. I don't recommend it if you're a beginner, just because there's so many factors and you have to be careful. You're making sure your wrist is set correctly while you're pulling the arrow back. Otherwise, you'll have a misfire and discharge, and you don't want that. It's safety issues and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. These are the 3 releases I've tinkered with. Now, once again, there's tons of different companies out there that make different thumb releases, wrist or hinges, you know, wrist releases. I mean, there's so many different companies out there, and there's different other ways to release the arrow, which I haven't even, you know, shown you guys on the channel, and maybe in the future I will get into it, who knows. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, especially you guys that are experienced archers, bow hunters. I like to know what you guys think. But thank you so much. I love every single one of you guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.